Well, hey, Parkview, we are back on our Parkview podcast. My name is Josh, here with Andy, and we are good to be back. It's been a minute since we've...
You're all bundled up today.
It's winter. It has been so cold. No, we haven't been on for like 2 months now. So,
wow.
I haven't heard a lot of people crying over that necessarily. I don't know what that means, but we're back.
Off.
Here we go. How you been, man?
I've been good. A little chilly, but good.
Like the type of cold where you're kind of just like, why am I not living in Arizona?
Your pipes freeze in your house or no?
Man, I knock on wood. I have never had that issue, and so I get scared. Do you do the thing where you open up the faucet?
Yeah, we have to. We have an old house. Our home was built in 1890, and so over the years things have gotten added. We have some pipes in a crawl space, so that I got in there. I insulated it all and got the heat tape on. Well, you had to.
Okay.
But even still, there's one chase that runs up an exterior wall, and on a really, really cold day, that will freeze. So we got to open the faucets.
That's good. I did it this year too, and no pipes freezing. Your house is okay?
We've had one pipe freeze about a month ago, but it didn't burst. It's fine if it freezes, but you hold your breath, it doesn't burst, because that's real bad. No bursting, just freezing.
If you know nothing else about Andy and I, we are the least trustworthy people to take care of your home. Or really anything. I'm
not sure why we have such an old home, because there's a lot to take care of.
No, but we are awesome at Googling like local plumber and then figuring out what to do.
Yeah, I built a nice Rolodex of people to help, so it's good.
Before we get started, can we talk about something very important? Because you sent an email out to Parkview this past week. You and the e-news have a list of all your favorite stuff.
I've been sending more of those lately, yeah. That section's called Life Lately. I think it's cool. People have liked it.
I am thinking...
it feels like you're about to make fun of me, though.
I'm not going to make fun of you. Robbie told me I'm writing it in a few weeks, so I'm really thinking deeply about what I'm going to tell people. But
you're not okay. That's not the spirit of it. It's supposed to be just what is life lately. I don't want these manufactured.
No, it's not manufactured.
Images.
It's the question. What questions do I answer?
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I'm really like. Do I tell them my food or my show or whatever? But
what food are you enjoying right now?
You mentioned that you're watching Survivor.
I finished, Survivor 49. It's been done for a while, but we wait till they're over so we can plow through them.
Same. And here's my question. I think the people want to know this. If you were on Survivor, how far do you think you'd get?
My goal, okay. I have talked about Brittany.
I know you have.
Should I apply? I think it would be a pretty fun adventure. It's a little presumptuous to think I would be chosen, because I wouldn't be. But it does come down to me like, well, how would my life stop for 40 days? Like, I don't have time for that.
We got
as if that's the barrier.
Time off.
As if that's the barrier, that I just don't have the time. My goal would be to make it to the merge, and then I'd be fine not winning.
I think that's everyone.
I would be very fine being the first member of the jury. That would be a wild experience.
But what would be your what strategy would you take?
Humor. I just would try and make people laugh. I would just be so agreeable, which I am in everyday life. It would not be a stretch. I would just be the you want to vote out Josh? Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Would you have 3 alliances, 4 alliances?
Yep. Whatever it took, I would sell my soul to get to the merge. And then it's like, okay, if they find me out at that point and they think I'm a fraud, then vote me out. But I just got to get to the merge, because then you get to be on the jury. I think you get to stay in Fiji longer, which is great. Do they send you home?
No, I've done a deep dive on this.
We don't have time. Yeah.
I need to tell the people. If you're in the merge, you go to this nice resort thing.
Yeah.
And now you haven't been eating for days, right?
Yeah.
Now you're just basically eating all this great food for the next week.
But if you get voted out before the merge, you just go home? Or do you get to stay?
It's not as cool. Something else happens. I'm not quite sure about that. I only know the merge people.
Okay, well.
I didn't really dive into the people.
That would be my goal.
Real bad.
I have no expectation of winning, even desire to win. I'm not a competitive person. I just think it would be a blast. And maybe the pastor angle they would think was cool. They always try and find interesting things.
They trust you. Maybe there'd be some inherent trust.
I don't know. Okay, the question. Okay, we got to move on. But I have thought about this. Would I tell people that I'm a pastor?
That's a good question.
I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Romans 1. Boom. Okay.
It's not a lie within the game, or is it?
It's more of a strategy. Would people have an assumption of what that would mean? Would they trust me? Would they trust me less or more? Would they think that I'm out? I have thought way too long about whether or not I would tell people what I actually did.
Anyone who watches Survivor has done this. The thing I'll say, I talked to Paige about this, my wife Paige, and she is convinced I would be out very quickly, because she says One, I wouldn't handle the bugs and the snakes and the spiders. She says, you'd just be done. Mm-hmm. And then she thinks I would draw too much attention to myself.
Yep. I'm with your only hope is if you're on a tribe that just kept winning and you never had to go to tribal. But if your tribe was going to tribal council, you would. I don't think you'd be the first, but I don't think you'd.
You don't think I'd make it to the merge?
You wouldn't make it to the merge.
But I think I would be a good candidate. I would be a good candidate to find an immunity idol. Like, I think I would be the person who's like hunting it down, and then
that only gets you one tribal council. You're I'm sorry, man. I think you're gone. Okay, all right. Let's move on to
whatever.
Jeez.
Did you watch The Guy Climb the Tower on Netflix?
No, I was fascinated by it, but I didn't. I saw
okay, that needs to make it into a sermon. That was the most fascinating thing.
The coolest thing was when that his wife was in the one of the floors, and they like waved to him as he was climbing up. Did you see that?
It's terrifying. I watched it. I knew.
I don't think you do that if there's a risk if you fall. I think you are so confident. I think it's like those guys. Remember when Nick Wendello did the thing in Chicago, the tightrope from the marina, whatever. There was no. I understand, but there's no. These guys are so good.
What if he got a cramp like in his pinky finger?
Yeah.
And then just go, and then that's it. Like, he's gone, and now we have this
got dark
debacle.
I mean, you know this guy. He's like a world class. I mean, he climbed El Capitan. I mean, this guy.
He's the best. He's the best free soloing climber.
Yeah. Could you name another one?
History, Mitch?
Could you name another one?
Well, yeah. We'll talk about it afterward. So.
Yeah. Okay. Because if you can't name another one, I don't know if you get to say that.
I barely can say his last name.
I don't know his name at all.
On to Parkview.
Okay.
This past Sunday.
This is wild. Yeah.
This past Sunday, in a sharp right turn, we had our transition. We finally got to say, all together as a congregation, as a family, got to say thank you to Ray for 31 years. This was his final kind of official Sunday. I think you started in your role in the new year officially, but this was like the kind of final farewell. And Ray is still here, but just a real moment of the passing of the baton. Ray enlightened me as I didn't know he got some flag thingy, and that's a baton too.
I don't know. He said he was going to do that.
Robbie, who's producing, is laughing. Is that a baton, Robbie?
Yeah, it's a twirling baton.
A twirling baton. He told me that he was maybe going to do that. I didn't have any confidence that he was going to be able to produce that and source that. So I was like, okay, sure. And then he pulled it out. I was like, wow, he was able to source that. Robbie was the source.
Right.
So
did you provide the baton? That's great.
I was like, there's no way he has one of those, and he's not gonna find one. He's not gonna. It's a funny idea. And then when he pulled it out, I was like, oh.
If you're Margie, you got a lot of questions on like the Amazon account when you see like the orders. And you see
I was more questioning. He was actually pretty good at twirling it.
So what was this? Just a check-in here. We'll get to. I want to talk a little bit, Ray, in a moment. That's a little peek behind the curtain later. But like, what was this like for you? You're sitting in the front row. You're watching this unfold. This is Ray's moment. We want to talk about him, but also like, what's it like for you? Because I have to imagine sitting there, you're also like, this is very real now.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that on Sunday. I felt that kind of the first Sunday of January as well. But there was no moment. But I definitely did feel it. Yeah, I mean, it was very humbling to sit there and to watch him talk about how much he loves the church and what he's tried to build, and then to hand that off. Like, it's a huge responsibility. And I was really glad we had the chance to do it. I mean, if Ray had his way, we wouldn't have probably have done anything.
So true.
But I think it was really important for the church to be able to mark the moment, to thank him, to thank God, really, for what God did through him. And I think that's I think it mattered. It mattered a lot. And people really showed up. I mean, people brought notes for him, and the video. People were really generous with their time on that video, and I think he really appreciated that. The extended cut, I think we said, was about 35 minutes of people saying thank you to him, and which is cool. So I don't know if he's watched it all yet. So people really, and all that showed me that people wanted to say thanks and to honor him, and so I'm glad we got a chance to do that.
It's really cool, and. For people listening, like, we as a staff have gotten some opportunities to celebrate Ray. We all went to, is it India House? What's the name of the restaurant?
So close.
Oh no, what's it called? I don't know.
India Palace. Well, now I'm second guessing. I think it's India Palace.
Someone back me up. Cover me here. Palace. All right, Mitch is
Geneva and Schmally.
I did not know. In my 11th year working with him, I did not know that was like his favorite food.
I don't think it is. So I think he likes it. I don't know. I didn't know. Maybe it is his favorite. I don't know. It was good. I had never been. I've always wanted to go. I'm not super adventurous with the food, and so I would never go by myself. And so it was fun. The food was amazing.
So
Excellent.
We gave him a gift with just some encouraging words from all of us and some photos. But there was another moment that no one got to see but our team that I think as soon as it happened, I was like, we gotta retell this, because I think this was the moment, maybe I would venture to guess, you haven't said this to me, but I'm making a guess, that this was where it really became very real for you. Is that so Christmas Eve was the last time really that Ray was speaking in his official lead pastor role. And at the end of the 11 o'clock service, what we decided as a team we were gonna wait after the service, and we were gonna have a moment together as kind of a farewell internally. And you were there. You kind of set it up.
I was there.
We all shared some things. You were there. But what was cool, as someone who's worked with you, but also your friend, like I got to see you get a little emotional around that. So I thought, could you like give us a peek behind the curtain of that moment and that transition time?
Yeah, I knew the passing the baton thing was going to happen. I knew our staff was going to have this time. I didn't know it was going to be India Palace at the time, but I knew we were going to do something. But something about that day, just it felt wrong to just go past it and not mark it, at least for our staff, because it was his last task thing that he was doing as lead pastor, and so it just felt and combo that with like the 11 p.m. like it's late at night. It's Christmas morning technically. I mean, I think it was about 1 a.m. on Christmas morning when we actually sat down in the auditorium to have this little moment together. So I think everyone was already kind of in their feels, and it was already kind of nostalgic, and but it just felt really intimate. Yeah. Sunday was great. It was very public, but that just felt very much like these are just the people that for the last few years you've been doing ministry with, and a few key volunteers stayed, a few elders were able to stay, and it was only about 20 minutes. We sang a song, we prayed over him, and then we shared some things that we appreciated about him. But for me, I wasn't expecting it, but it did become real kind of in that moment of like watching this man who has given really his entire life to this place kind of say goodbye, and kind of he's still around obviously, but to realize that like all chapters come to a close. And I just started thinking about my own reality of like what would I want to be said when I'm sitting here in however long, and what do I need to do now to make sure that happens, because I really selfishly, like I really want to be able to say what Ray has been able to say at the end of my time, and be proud of the way that he's led. And so, it just was a very like real, like, oh, we're doing this. And him and I were on the stage together. We had a moment where I just looked at him and was like, I don't want to screw this up. And he said, you'll do great. And I said, I think I'll do fine. Like I'll try my best. And it was just, I don't know how else to say it other than this was a very tender, sweet time together.
And I think it's cool for us is like, we don't always get to see that side of you. That side doesn't come out.
I'm so measured. I'm so analytical. Right? Yeah, I'm brilliant.
And that's a strength of yours, but we got to see in that moment just a little bit of that tender side come out. And when it does, it's so powerful for people listening, because you can just tell something's impacted you. But it's wild to think of Ray 31 years. I'm 40. And like he's pastored a church almost 40.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
He's pastored a church almost as long as I've been alive. It's just a wild thing to kind of process. Like I don't know how to fit my mind around that. It was a good moment for our staff, and I remember, just on a personal note for Ray, like I remember coming to Parkview, and I've told this story in a couple of venues. Like when I came to Parkview, I think I talked a good game in the interview, but I think deep down I was still like,
I can't verify that. I was not here.
You were not here, but I think deep down part of me was like, can I do this? Am I good enough at this? I was still young in my career, and had some hard experiences in church work, and what I was grateful for was Ray just gave me chances. He just trusted me. He gave me a chance to start classes and camps and programs, to take things away that I thought weren't helping. I had a lot of freedom. And then I've told this story. I remember my first sermon, he was really helpful and just sitting with me. He sat with me through, talking through it. And then after my first sermon at the first service, back then it was 8:30, I think it was, or 8:45, maybe 8:30.
So early.
8:30, 9:45. I can't. It was some time with an 8 in front of it. I walked off stage. I thought I was gonna get a little feedback from him, and he just came and gave me a big hug, and I get a little emotional to think about it now because I think he knew at that time, like, that's just what was needed. And I could tell, I think what I appreciate about that, and this has been true about him the whole time, is that I knew he cared about me as a person and not just as like a position, as a check the box youth pastor, as a youth pastor at the time, like just another guy on the staff. And so I've always felt that way about him. He's always cared about me more as a person than as a position. And so, yeah, I think that's the piece that probably I carry on with me today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's always been very generous with giving away leadership. And similar to me, I mean, I wanted to teach. I've always wanted to teach. I remember it was like a 5-year-old sitting in service, 7-year-old, and like retelling the sermon in my own words, thinking like it would have been cool if he would have done this, or why did he end his story that way? Like I've just always thought about communicating from up front, but no one wants to be the first person to say like, want to give it a try. And so he was very generous and said, yeah, there would be space for you to grow and explore that, and I'm very grateful for that.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So it says, that leads us to you, man. So what was it like coming in January, your first message in this new series, which I think it'd be cool for you. I don't want to steal your thunder, but telling maybe the motivation behind this January series, where it came from related to Ray. But also seeing your title change for the first time, like lead pastor on the screen. Like,
that was weird. I didn't like that. I remember I still was trying to figure out, like, I was still trying to figure out how to embrace the title and the role and stuff. And I remember being really uncomfortable with that. I remember spending way too much time thinking about, is there a way I could just not have that slide up for the series? Could I change the title to something funny? Can I make it? Sometimes I do like to change that little title slide to see if people are listening. I put like my full name up there, or I put a silly description. But I just remember like really resisting like it being so public and just like, hey, you're the lead. And I just didn't want to make it a thing. And at the end of the day, I remember sitting in the tech booth with that slide up and like, do I change this or not? And I just thought, no, like this is the season. Like this is what God has called us to, and this is the role I've accepted. And here we go. But even like, this is silly, but like even like on my LinkedIn and on my Facebook, I'm trying to find a way to like change my title without being like everyone getting a notification. I just hate that. I just don't want that.
Oh, you gotta do it at like 11 p.m.
Well, I think there's a way to make it private, but I don't know. I just because it's like I have two values going on. I have a value of things being accurate, and so like I'm like, oh, it's not my title anymore. It's not accurate, but I also have a value of like it not being a public and a thing where people comment and say, oh, we're so glad. And so I got to figure out how to do that. But so there was a moment where I was like, this is real. I just need to embrace it. In the series. So two things. First, Moses is like my guy. I love Moses. The first message I preached on January 4th was kind of like my message growing up. And in high school, it was like the first message I heard. It was actually a Rick Warren message. I mean, not verbatim. I didn't like take his manuscript, but that text and this idea of like what's in your hand and God could use it. And it just changed. It's changed my life. It changed thinking about. It changed how I thought about sermons. It was creative, and it was like storytelling, and it was a little more like literary and poetic, and not like verse by verse kind of stuff. So like, well, that's cool. And then just the message of just using whatever's in your hand, and Moses, and Moses, the story of Moses, the Exodus story has just always been something I was drawn to. So I really wanted to start kind of my time going through Moses, but then I also had this idea of ending with this leadership transition, which makes sense. And I had known, because Ray had joked about it before, I had known that was his first sermon, that Moses is dead from Joshua 1, was his first sermon that he preached in March of 1995. And so I thought, well, that'd be kind of a cool, like we'll start it with like my kind of message that I love, and we'll end with his first message. And so, yeah, it worked well. When I said that in both services, at the close, I came up and mentioned the tie, there was like an audible like, oh, that's cool. And I wasn't expecting that, honestly, but it is kind of a fun full circle moment. And he did give me his manuscript from 1995, written the same way he writes them now. And
do you have all the same like secret codes?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The abbreviations awesome. And like.
If you've never seen Ray's manuscript, you won't know what to do with it if you've seen it.
There's some insider codes for sure that only he knows. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see. Like, 31 years ago, you had this very similar style, very similar voice. So it's cool.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. So, so I don't know. I think it would be. I want to leave room for you to make sure as we step into new roles, whatever new role it is, like you kind of learn some things as you go. Your leadership changes and stuff, but maybe it'd be helpful just for our people to hear. Like, what are some key things about you now that are like core to your leadership style? Things that are just true about you, or ways you're leading that, like, I don't know. It's too many. It's kind of a word vomit there. But yeah, what are some things? What are some aspects of your leadership?
What a picture you just painted for us. That was nice.
What are some parts of your leadership style that people maybe need to know?
I'm definitely still learning. I'm new to this. I mean, I said that on Sunday. Like, I've never been this way before, to borrow from the text. And I'm new to this and still trying to figure out a little bit. But, I think part of why I resisted the role for so long wasn't because I didn't love the church. It wasn't because I didn't think I had something to offer. And, I'm just not I'm not maybe your typical, like, hardcore, intense leader that leads organizations, that leads teams, that leads initiatives, that, and part of it is, Brittany, my wife, it's 2 T's, T-A-N-Y, so Brittany. It's not Brittany, that's Britney Spears, Brittany. Anyways.
Britney Spears name drop.
Well, growing up in the 90s, and her name was Brittany, it was just have to tell people how to spell it. It's Brittany. Anyways, she's she's not going to like this. She's not going to listen.
No, she's already out.
She's a remarkable leader. Mm-hmm. She's one of the best leaders I know. Truly, it's not just because I'm married to her. She is driven. She's organized. She gives clear directives. She's a great manager, and she's just born to lead. She walks in a room, she just wants to lead it. And so that's what I've seen for our marriage. I've had this partner that's an incredible leader, and so I would always be like, well, I don't lead like that, and I'm not maybe as talented, or I don't get as much energy from leading, that just the act of leading. And so I always kind of like downplayed some of my own leadership abilities because I saw the way she did it, and she's so effective. And I just thought, well, if I don't like it the way she likes it, I don't do it the way she does it. And there are other leaders too that I've compared myself to that I'm like, I'm not like that. So it has taken me a while to realize what is true of my leadership, and it can still be effective, it's just gonna be different. And I mean, some of the cores, you asked about the cores, I mean, authenticity, humility, hopefully, clarity, like clarity really matters to me. And like this openness to like try new things and then to be open to feedback and either scrap it or make it better. And so I really just try to lead relationally. I do try to be really organized and clear with expectations and with like where we're going. But one of the things I tried to do early on that you were a part of in these meetings is just to open lines of communication and just say, hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about things that you have questions about, and let's work together. I don't just want to hand you a list of things to do necessarily. I want to brainstorm and hear your ideas. And so I'm still kind of learning the best way to do that. But I know some of the foundation will be relationship, trust, collaboration, communication.
Yeah, we've already seen that in the office, I think. Things have changed structurally, right? You're in a different role, and so there's some responsibilities that have changed. But really, like, the way you operate, you've already been handed a ton, like, in the last 2 years. And so we've already had you in supervisory or leadership roles. And so we've had a chance to already see some of this, right? Where opportunities to see where your decisiveness shows up, and then opportunities to see where your collaboration shows up. And it does blend very nicely because, if I can say so, it's like it doesn't. I think a good hallmark of you is like, you don't dominate the room, but we also don't feel like we're going to walk out not knowing what's going to happen. Like you will end those things, giving people clear direction and leadership and confidence in it. And so it's a good mix, because I think that's a really hard mix. Usually people are one of the two. They're either highly collaborative, indecisive, or highly decisive, and then people feel left out of the decision making. But I can see you doing a good job and continuing to figure out, like, how do I blend those things. So
yeah, thanks, man.
This is like a little bit of like in the weeds question. We've been at like high level, but just I think it's worth mentioning. I know it's something that's important to you to clarify.
Someone just sneezed super loud. Did you hear that?
That was CJ. Was that CJ? She's looking at me. Oh no.
Was it Allison?
It was Allison. We're just looking. We record this in our office space, which is probably not
the best.
Not the best for our team, but that's why you get a random doorbell or a sneeze. Can you do that, Robbie?
No, I don't think she can do
that. Or add more sneezes. I don't know why you do that.
Why would you?
I don't know.
More sneezes?
That doesn't make any sense. Matt Soley's joined our team as the executive pastor, and it might be helpful for you to share, what's a little bit of the difference between lead pastor, executive pastor. If you don't know church work, those can sound, executive pastor feels like it could be, the interchange with lead pastor. What are the differences between these roles? What are the operational functions?
Well, yeah, we're still trying to figure some of that out, but I've been thinking a lot about. We did the William Wallace illustration 6 months ago, which was good. So I won't do that again. But
great movie.
What's the movie again? I don't even remember.
Wait, now the titles. What's wrong with me? Braveheart. Oh my goodness, that was embarrassing. Right. If Jake listens to this, he's gonna.
Well, everyone's so precious around Jake and his movies. He's not the only person that knows and likes movies.
But he knows and
he's
likes
not some authority. He doesn't write for the Sun-Times. He's not Ebert and Roper.
It's true. It's like saying there's not the only Bears fan, but we all know he's kind of insane about it.
Yeah. Anyways, I had this moment. I'll tell you a little light bulb moment I had around these division of roles because I really wasn't sure what an executive pastor does and what a lead pastor does and how it all works together. Because it's been a while since we've had that kind of set up in our office, and everyone does it a little differently. But no, there was a moment. I was visiting with a couple downtown that was going through a medical procedure, and I wanted to visit them. And so, you going downtown takes all day. And so I got up relatively early, and I went down there and I had breakfast with them, and I did some work at the waiting area, and I brought them lunch and talked with them and just tried to care for them, whatever. And it was nice, and I think they felt cared for, and I was glad to be there. But it was my whole, I don't know what day it was, Thursday or something, Wednesday. And I remember feeling a little guilty. I wasn't in the office today. I didn't really get a ton of work done. And on the way home, I was getting off the highway. I was on Roosevelt, and Matt called me and essentially gave me an update from his day. And he told me all the things that he had done and some of the conversations that he had, some of the projects that he was working on. And a little bit of a light bulb went off of that's what having a partner does. Those things were on my radar, and I was worried about those things or curious about those things. And while I was down at Lurie's, caring for a family and just trying to encourage them and pray for them, he was working on facility things he had some meetings with some pastors around goals and expectations. And I was like, oh, sweet. This could be really cool.
Yeah.
Not that I will never be a part of those conversations or something, but just having someone that is taking care more of the operational day-to-day things that frees me up to teach. I've been teaching a lot more and frees me up to hopefully pastor and care. I've been meeting with a lot more people, trying to go out to coffee and lunch or whatever and meet people and get to know their stories and offer if there's anything I can do to help. So that's kind of how we've been thinking about it, is just this running more of the day-to-day operations, facilities, finance, helping our team set goals, helping solve problems that our team have. It's been great. Matt's been, if you don't know Matt yet, he would love to grab coffee with you. You get to know him a little bit, and he's been a really great addition so far to our team.
Yeah.
4 months or so.
4 months? Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, October.
Man, time flies. It's interesting because I don't think people realize, in the last couple of years, Ray has absorbed kind of two positions really in that, and
Terry has been a huge part of that. Yeah,
Terry's been a huge part of that. So and then as you were taking things over, you're absorbing some of that. So there's some adjustment in that. There's some pastoral pieces, there's some operational pieces, and you're starting to learn that you can give away some of those now because you don't have to do both jobs. And so that even is probably an adjustment. So
some of the things Ray trained me on, it's well, that's fantastic, thank you. But now that we have Matt, it's actually kind of a moot point. I'm not the one approving all the bills or cutting checks or whatever. So
it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up towards the end here.
Yeah, we should save this thing for the next one.
Okay,
I can see you looking at it. This is too good to try and fit into the last 5 minutes of this.
For those who don't know,
little radio tease. We're gonna go somewhere. It's a congregant gave me a pretty cool. I gotta tell what it is. And you'll have to tune in next time for the actual content.
I don't know what's in it for the record, so I'm just excited.
I had a congregant. He's relatively new. His name's Chris. I love this guy, and he was checking out Parkview, and he's a pretty savvy guy, and he ran an AI analysis essentially of all of my sermons. He put it all into an AI module. I think I'm saying that correctly, and it pumped out the 5 major themes that I tend to talk about. It put them with percentages of the things that I talk about, the scriptures that I use, and the the major themes. And as I looked at it,
crazy.
It was pretty accurate. I was like, yeah, that sounds like what I talk about a lot. And so I want to share that maybe next time because it corresponds within like the things that matter to me and the things that you'll hear out of my mouth because we already have. It's pretty cool.
It's a radio tease for me. Like you
haven't seen the document. So, it's 10 pages. It has all of the content. It tells you its sources. It tells you where these themes have come from. So like, it cites it. It tells you what how my name is usually misspelled. Which I was like, how does it know that?
Is that true?
It wasn't super true, but it thought it was true.
Clanky or Andy?
That was good. No, Clanky. Andy is usually pretty. I mean, there's an A&D-I for girls that use the name, I guess, now. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days kind of ruined the name for me a little bit. Kate Hudson was Andy with an I.
Such a good movie, though.
Yeah, it was good. Knicks won the championship in that movie, which that's how you knew it was
not real.
Not real. So, yeah, it was cool analysis. So I'll share that maybe next time. A, because it's interesting, and then B, because it really does kind of encapsulate what I talk about. And then maybe we can launch off that into a conversation about AI.
Yeah, no,
the
we're
ethics of
in
AI.
Trouble.
I shouldn't radio tease it that much because then.
Yeah, no, the robots are taking over, man.
They're not going to take over.
They're taking over. I'm prepared.
But a conversation around how AI is used in the church actually is pretty interesting. I'm not an authority by any stretch,
right?
But I can just tell you what I do, and maybe people would be interested in that.
Yeah,
no, and maybe I'll hear what you do.
I think people want to just know that the sermon is not written by AI.
Yeah, of course not.
And it's not written by AI.
They're not good enough to be written by AI. You should just listen to it and be like, oh yeah, that was not that. That was Andy trying to do his best.
Any teacher will tell you they would know immediately. Yeah. However, there are some ways.
It's a thing though. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that next week. Okay. Or not next week, next month.
So yeah, let's just real quick as we're wrapping up. Next pod is in a month, and then what can we preview for that? A little AI robots
preview.
Taking over the world.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit about some of our distinctives a little bit more too. Ray did a nice job actually on Sunday going through them and reestablishing them, but there are some things in there that we have so many newer people or people that have seen the distinctives or the values but don't fully know some of the history behind them. So which will go nicely with this AI thing. So maybe we'll talk about some values. But some things you can be praying for. We have a pastor's retreat coming up in March, first Sunday in March 1st through the 3rd. We're just going to a house in Michigan. Got a little shoulder season. Nice pray. I don't know who's going to Michigan in March. So it was a big house on the water, but it's probably going to be freezing.
Well, there's a hot tub, though. And
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I got to write a policy real quick about that.
It's there. I'm using it.
You can be praying for that. Carlos is worried about the sleeping arrangements. I think there's bunk beds or something.
There's a wall with 4 beds.
Cubbies. That's kind of cool.
But they are cubbies. They don't, from a picture, look like they can contain a full-size human. So there's some concern.
They're maybe going to be a little tight. Anyways, you can be praying for that. Not just for our comfort, but we're going to be doing some planning there, which will be good. Matt, I don't know when this is going to will drop, but we're working on a survey, an all-church survey that we really want people to take. I'll look right into the camera. We need people to take the survey, preferably before we go on this retreat, because that's going to help us discern some of like a baseline of where our church is and things they want to see and how connected people are. So that will be coming. We're going to actually do it. I think it's I forget the day.
It's on the Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Is it Super Bowl Sunday? Oh, it's coming up fast. Okay. So if this airs after Super Bowl Sunday, there'll still be an opportunity to take it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then just know on that day we really need you to take that survey.
Also, looking right in the camera at you, Parker, because he's not going to say it.
What?
The winner of the survey.
Winner? How do you win a survey?
The draw name.
The best answers?
The person whose name we draw of the people. Someone's going to get to go to Culver's with Andy. That is a prize. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
So yeah, there's a thing. If you want to leave your name and enter yourself into a sweepstakes, which feels to say sweepstakes.
You get to go with him to his favorite restaurant. Let's do it, Parkview. Get to go to Culver's.
I'm going to Culver's right now, actually, with
it does
someone.
Sound good.
Not just by myself. Someone reached out and they want to go. Did something just happen to my mic? It just went out of my headphones.
Oh, I can hear you still.
Okay, I'll just keep talking. Someone reached out. They want to go to. They want to go to Culver's with me and Carlos. So we're going to Culver's.
That's awesome. All right, Parkview, thanks for tuning in to the new season podcast, and tune in next time, and thanks for listening.